Dude, this car is awesome. Do you take this thing on the track?
Yeah, I've had the car for a few years now, but I haven't gone to the track. I think I want to go to the track. I just really haven't found the time, or I don't think the car is ready for the track yet.
Wait, what do you mean the car's not ready? It's a GT3.
I mean, the GT3 is pretty good. I think it's really good on the road, but I want to go to the track, and I mean, I think that I should have gotten an RS. So I want to put some RS parts on this car before I go to the track. I want to get RS suspension, RS brakes, RS flywheel, all that stuff, and I, you know, it's really expensive, so I haven't gotten the time or the money to put the parts into the car before going to the track.
But the car's got a roll cage in it.
Well, I haven't gotten all the safety equipment either, you know, like, I got the roll cages back there, but, you know, I need to get harnesses and fire suppression and fire suit and all that stuff, and it just keeps adding up, man, and I don't wanna go if I'm not truly ready for the track. I mean, the car's white with the white wheels. I mean, it's really hard to clean, you know, especially the white wheels, like, and the brakes on this car, there's so much brake dust. And when I drive the car and then get all the brake dust on the side of the car, it's just like so hard to clean.
Wow. Weren't the center locks made for motorsport?
Yeah, I haven't been able to change the brake pads or do any suspension work because of the center locks on this car. I don't have the center lock tool to get this, so I gotta take it to the dealership to get that work done. And that's super expensive. They look sweet though, so I'm gonna keep them.
For real?
Yeah, man, the tires are super expensive as well, and like, I don't wanna go through and chew up these tires just to buy more. And it just keeps adding up. And the car's like so low, and the front lip is really low, and I don't want to mess that up and break that off and have to buy a new lip either. Yeah, and when I asked about that on Renlist, the guys just basically said I'm not ready, you know?
Really?
And yeah, I basically should have bought an RS. I really don't want to get all that track gunk all over my car and have it damage the paint. I really want to get PPF.
Excuses are something drivers like me are always making when we are slow on the track. But what about the excuses we hear from drivers who've never been to the track? Things like, my car isn't ready for the track. I don't have coilovers or that big brake kit or the turbo kit installed to be on track. Or I don't have the money to get out on track. That last one is pretty valid, but if you already have a car like the BRZ, track day expenses can be pretty reasonable. So if you can get over the extreme satire in the first scene and want to know how to get on track, that's what we are going over in today's video. Let's go over how you can get to the track on a modest budget when you already have a car like the BRZ with minimal modifications. Before we actually get to the track, we've got some preparation to do. First thing you'll need to do is register for an event, and since we are trying to speak to individuals that have never been to the track before, we're going to concentrate on HPDE, aka High Performance Driver Education events. These events are intended for drivers that want to get on track in a safe environment to test the limits of their cars and themselves. So for beginners, you do that with the help from more experienced veterans. It's important to understand that definition of HPDE, as the events are not racing events or timed challenge events. We aren't racing at all out there. Events like Global Time Attack, Grid Life GLTC, World Racing League endurance events are all racing events and require you to be a veteran driver that has gone through the ranks of HPDE before actually competing. The point of HPDE events is to ensure drivers are safely navigating the track together with their fellow drivers. What you learn in these events is track etiquette and communication to ensure you don't put yourself or others on track in unsafe situations. Once you can safely navigate this side of the event, then you can start concentrating on finding the optimal line on track, the limits of your car, and the limits of yourself. Now, this is extremely important. Safety and track etiquette is what makes these events possible and allow drivers to get the most out of their time on track and ensure we are finding the limits in the safest way possible. We'll get back to track safety and etiquette later, but now back to registering. The most commonly used website to find these HPDEs is motorsportreg.com. You'll be able to type in your location and filter down to find HPDEs in your area. What you want to look for are events that you might find interesting. Let's say you have a Porsche or BMW. Well, since these manufacturers are so popular, they're able to have owners groups like Porsche Club of America or BMW Car Club of America. And these groups actually host their own HPDE events at tracks that are close to their operating region. Once you find something that you're interested in, you'll be able to follow the steps on the site to register for the event and find more information. While you're registering, you'll notice that you'll have to sign up for a specific run group to complete your registration. These run groups can sometimes have different naming structures, but it basically boils down to a beginner, intermediate, and advanced group. Beginner groups will always have instructors leading this group. These instructors will be with you pretty much most of the day, ensuring that you're doing what you need to do on track and giving advice where they see fit. The agenda will vary from organization to organization, but for the most part, when on track, you'll likely be doing lead follow exercises to get beginners comfortable with the racing line, or the instructors will sit shotgun in your car, giving you instruction the entire time on track. This instruction will focus on a lot, but the main priority for the instructor is ensuring that you are safe on track, getting familiar with the racing line, and working on your situational awareness. This goes back to that track etiquette I was talking about earlier as well. The instructors will teach you how to be aware of your surroundings on track, teaching you how to react to unsafe situations on the track, how to pass other drivers safely, when and where to pass safely, how to pay attention to corner workers, how to enter a hot track, how to exit a hot track, how to react to different flagging situations, and generally how to get comfortable with being on track. I know, it's a lot. It is a lot of stuff that you've got to concentrate on. For beginners, this time with your instructor early on in your HPDE career is very important. Hopefully, if you've got a good instructor and you become a sponge to absorb all that knowledge and push that ego aside, you'll quickly move up the ranks of HPDE, which will allow you to then get comfortable with what you're doing and really start increasing your speed and limits as a driver. This is when things start to get fast. But now we're getting ahead of ourselves. So now you're registered with your first track day in the beginner group. So now it's time to get prepared. I spoke a lot on safety and how this is a huge priority on track. Now let's go over what is required by many organizations in regards to actual safety equipment that you'll be wearing and responsible for purchasing or renting. Most organizations will have this information for you to reference during the registration process. At minimum, while on track, the safety stewards are going to want you to be wearing closed-toed shoes, long pants, a long-sleeve shirt, and a racing helmet that has a Snell certification. The clothes are easy. I'm sure everyone watching likely has what is required already for clothing, but what about that helmet and Snell rating? This is straight from the Snell Foundation website. The Snell Foundation is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to research, education, testing, and development of helmet safety standards since its founding in 1957. Snell has been a leader in helmet safety in the United States and around the world. So what does Snell actually do? The Snell Foundation tests 6 of the most critical elements affecting a helmet's protective properties, which are 1. Impact management. How well the helmet protects against collisions with large objects. 2. Helmet positional stability. Whether the helmet will be in place on the head when it's needed. 3. Retention system strength. Whether the chin straps are sufficiently strong to hold the helmet throughout a head impact. 4. Extent of protection. The area of the head protected by the helmet. 5. Flame resistance. Whether the helmet will withstand exposure to a direct flame. 6. Frontal head restraints. Whether the helmet is appropriate for use with tether systems intended to divert the inertia load of the wearer's head and helmet away from the cervical spine in crash impact conditions. Pretty important stuff if you care about your safety while out on track. With the background info out of the way, what you need to know when purchasing a helmet is that you will want to look for this Snell certification, which ensures that the helmet was tested for automotive and racing use. Snell comes out with these certifications every 5 years, and Most organizations will accept helmets that have the previous 2 certification dates available. For example, we are filming this in 2025, but the SA 2025 certifications have not been released yet this year. So organizations will accept SA 2020 and SA 2015 ratings. Once the SA 2025 rating will be released, the 2 certifications that will be accepted will now be SA 2020 and SA 2025. This varies by organization slightly, but in general, this is widely accepted by a majority of organizations. Now that you know what to buy, you'll want to make sure it fits correctly, because if the helmet doesn't fit your head correctly, then all of that testing and certification is thrown out the window. The Snell Foundation recommends that you position the helmet on your head so that it sits low on your forehead. If you can't see the edge of the brim at the extreme upper range of your vision, the helmet is probably out of place. Adjust the retention system so that when it's in use, it will hold the helmet firmly in place. This positioning and adjusting should be repeated to obtain the best result possible. The procedure initially may be time-consuming, but take your time. Try to remove the helmet without undoing the retention system. And if the helmet comes off or shifts over your eyes, readjust and try again. If no adjustment seems to work, then likely this helmet's not for you. You're gonna have to try another one. The fitment should be snug, but not tight around the upper brim of your head. And the padding in your cheeks should be tight and push your cheeks up. Ensuring a proper fit is really important. So it's best if you can go to your local race shop to test fit multiple sizes and brands of helmets. Lucky for me, I was able to go to Wine Country Motorsports at Sonoma Raceway to get my helmet properly fitted and purchased. If you don't have a local shop, then ordering a helmet online is your next best choice. And many retailers will understand that if you need to return and swap out for a different size. Might be a bit of a hassle, but for the most part, you'll likely get something that should fit you. With your helmet picked out and your clothes ready for the track, let's talk about what else you should be bringing with you. Since you're going to be out at the event basically all day, we're going to want to make sure you've got everything you need to be taking care of yourself. Starting with the basics like water. Making sure you are well hydrated will keep you from being too hot and fatigued during the day. That ensures that you're going to be feeling good for your sessions on track. Make sure you bring plenty of water, as this is often overlooked by newcomers to the track. You'll also want to pack yourself a lunch and some quick snacks. Some tracks will have a concession stand or a grill that you can order lunch from, but the quality is hit or miss, and some tracks are out in the middle of nowhere, so they may not even have a stand available or food even nearby. Best bet is to pack yourself a lunch in a cooler along with some of your favorite snacks to ensure you've got enough energy to perform at your best for the day. Other things that you will want to bring that aren't absolutely necessary but will help give you comfort for the day would be things like a hat, a portable camping chair, umbrella or parasol. These things will ensure you can take some time between sessions to rest and get yourself out of the sun. All those things that will help keep you in good shape for the next session on the track. Now, let's talk about what we need to bring for the car. A small set of basic tools is likely all you're going to need. Some basic wrenches, sockets and ratchet, adjustable wrench, a couple screwdrivers, Allen key set, floor jack, and breaker bar will get you pretty far. Since you're a beginner, chances of something breaking should be pretty minimal since you aren't going past the limit. These basic tools will allow you to fix minor issues or be able to take a wheel off to inspect anything if anything weird is going on with that suspension. Some nice to have items to add to the kit would be an electric impact gun, portable air pump, tire gauge, some detail spray and window cleaner, and microfiber towels. These will make life easier and ensure you can check your tire pressures and air up after the end of the event, clean up your windshield between sessions so you can improve your vision, and make getting wheels on and off the car a bit easier. And really, that's about it on what you should be bringing to your first event. You don't need a truck and trailer full of tools to be out at the track. As nice as that sounds, It's a ton to manage, and if you're just getting started with motorsports, it's honestly just overkill. Finally, let's talk about the "my car isn't ready" excuse. This is the biggest, most used excuse for not going to a track day. Trust me, I get it. I've used this excuse many times before in the past, but in all reality, your car is likely more ready than you think. And taking a stock car out on track isn't crazy or unsafe. It's actually the best way for you to learn your car's limits before making wild changes from the modifications you probably already have planned. This way, you know what those modifications are actually doing to the car, and if the car actually needs it to perform the way you want it to. First off, let's talk about the condition your car needs to be in before heading to the track. You definitely need the car to be in good condition. Fluids need to be topped off with nothing leaking. Your suspension needs to be functioning properly. Your brakes need to be in good working order with plenty of pad life left and rotor life left. And your tires need to have plenty of tread left. This is basically the same thing you need for just using the car on the street, if I'm being honest. Making unnecessary changes to the car will keep you from getting out to the track. Just use what you guys have as long as it is in good condition. With the GR86 and the BRZ being relatively new, you likely already have everything you need. The only caveat to this would be your brake fluid and brake pads. Using a high temp brake fluid is likely going to be the only absolutely necessary change I would suggest for a beginner going to the track. The OEM fluid is just not up to the task of repeated braking and the heat retention from that braking. The same can be said about some OEM brake pads as well. So swapping them out for a slightly more aggressive pad with better heat dissipation is definitely a welcome change. Owners with the performance package can likely get away with using the OEM pads from Brembo for their first couple track days before needing to upgrade. And that's really it. I mean, you don't really need much. And to prove that, in our next video, we'll be going to the track with the BRZ, and we'll only be changing brake fluid to prepare. You just really don't need all those modifications to get yourself started at the track. Just leave those excuses at the door, guys. Okay, now you're registered. You have your safety equipment, your pack out kit is ready to go, and your car is prepared. So you're ready to go to the track. Now here are some things to look out for while you're at the event. These are going to be just some general tips because the most important thing for beginners to do is to make it to the driver's meeting and start listening and learning from those instructors that are set to lead you through the day. You should be arriving at the track at least an hour before the first mandatory driver's meeting. You should have a schedule by now via email from the organization, so you should already know when that driver's meeting will be. Typically, it's the first thing on the schedule, so arriving around 7 to 8 a.m. at the track is usually a good window. Arriving early gives you ample time to find a paddock space, start unloading your vehicle, go through tech inspection of your car, and get through registration. You don't want to be scrambling around doing all this before the driver's meeting or your first session on track. So get your ass up early and be at the track bright and early. It's pretty simple. Now that you're at that driver's meeting, this is a good time for the instructors to take it from here. Like I said before, be a sponge and push that ego aside. You aren't going to be fast your first time on track, okay? And that is okay. Just get over this before you even arrive at the track, and remember to be ready to learn. The speed will come eventually, just not today. With the instructors taking it away from here, my time is over. I hope you guys have learned a little today, and I've helped get you more interested in getting to the track with your car. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. So I hope you guys get just as addicted to this sport as I have been. In the next video, you guys will join me and the BRZ at the track. And I'm excited to share with you how much fun it's going to be. So I hope I see you guys at the track soon. Peace.